'Twas the day before our cruise, and all through the house, not a creature was panicked, not even a mouse. Not even me, because we cruise all the time, and I'm just excited. Greg and I are taking our first cruise without kids that we've ever done, and I'm gonna, of course, take you along for that. But before we even get to that, in this video, we're gonna do a packing specific video. I'm hoping to share some of my best tips that I've learned from cruising a whole lot, or just traveling in general, and hopefully you'll walk away with something if you're planning a cruise, and how I kind of plan for it, and just some like little hacks along the way that help me stay organized, because I'm very type B, and I need all the organizational help that I can get. Before we even get into the chaos of what's behind me, I want to share with you the first thing that I do. I use the Reminders app on my phone, and I have a perpetual packing list template on it that I pull up every time we travel, and I add to it, delete from it, depending on the trip that we're going on, and that saves so much brain power. So let me show you what I'm doing. This is the Reminders app in the iPhone. So what I do here is, I don't know why this camera is not focusing well. You're gonna create a template first of all. So if you have like a whole list here, you can save it as a template. And then, so like you start a packing list, right? Save it as a template. And then when you go back to do your new packing list, you're gonna go through here, you're gonna create a new list from your template and rename it to whatever you want. And then all of that is on here. And I'm gonna go through here and just like add stuff, delete stuff based on where we are traveling to. Basically, that is extremely helpful because you have you're really using your brain power one time to create that list. You save it as a template and you just reuse it over and over again. You can resave another template if you like refine it. Just keep saving templates till it's like the one that you like. But then when it's time to travel again, you just start that new list, you pull that template up, and you're good to go because it's stuff that you're always bringing. And then you can add stuff to it that are specific that you need for your trip, etc., etc. I hate having to rethink of a packing list over and over again. Okay, my second tip has to do with packing your toiletries and your makeup and stuff like that. My biggest tip for that is when you're putting on your makeup, either the morning of, the day before, something like that, go through and pack your makeup bag as you are getting ready and putting your makeup on. So like I did today, I put some makeup on, and as I was doing it, I threw everything in this bag to take with me. I have my makeup in this because if you're familiar with cruises, there is a bathroom, and then they typically have like a vanity outside in the room with a seat and a desk, and that's where I tend to like want to put my makeup on, not in the bathroom. So I keep my makeup separate from the rest of my stuff. And for the rest of my stuff, I use something like this hanging toiletry bag. These are really, really helpful for cruises because, you know, there's not a ton of counter spaces on cruises, and this just like gets everything. So I'm gonna do like my skincare, hair care stuff. All of that is in here, and it's gonna hang in the bathroom. And then the makeup is gonna go in here, and that's gonna stay like in the little vanity desk inside the cabin. Another thing that I do when I am getting ready and packing my makeup as I'm putting makeup on, I also clean my makeup brushes as I am doing my makeup and putting them in this travel bag. This is a BK Beauty travel set makeup brush set, and I add some extra brushes in there as well. But basically, I'm doing my makeup and cleaning my brushes all at the same time. So when I get to my destination, I have a clean brush. As I am doing my makeup, I use this brush cleaner called the Cinema Secrets makeup brush cleaner. You pour a little bit into a bowl, you swirl your brush around, and you wipe it off on a towel, and you have a clean, dry brush. It's the best. This is gonna look like organized chaos, but we're gonna be fine. I'm gonna explain it to you how I typically plan my clothes, all right, for cruises in general. What I do is I just kind of like lay everything out just to see what I've got, and I plan during the day outfits and dinner outfits. And this is a 4-night cruise. What I'm wearing on the ship, 3 days, and disembarkation. That's all right here. I keep that fairly casual. I've got my swimsuits and cover-ups here. I have 3 swimsuits, a pair of shorts for a swimsuit, and 3 cover-ups. And then for my dinner outfits, I love to rent clothes from Rent the Runway or Fashion Pass. I kind of alternate between the two. When I'm not using it, I pause my membership. Let me show you these. Okay, so like I mentioned, I have a Rent the Runway subscription. I alternate between these 2 subscriptions, Fashion Pass and Rent the Runway. I love it for cruises because I can wear really fun things. So here are the 4 things that I'm bringing with me. There's this romper that's really flowy. I've rented this before and I really like liked it. It has an open back. It's really cute. You can dress it up or dress it down. I'm gonna wear this with some heels. And then this is a Farm Rio dress that's really fun. It's kind of like it's got a backless back to it. Fun tropical print. Really like this. I like trying things that are kind of out of my comfort zone when I rent my clothes. I've rented this dress before too. This is really pretty. I love this pattern. It's got a slit on both sides. You're gonna wear that with some heels, and it was also very comfortable. I got this dress to rent. I thought was really fun, tropical, but also springy because it's April. That'll be really fun. That's my favorite thing to do. I have a Rent the Runway referral link below. I'm not affiliated with Rent the Runway in any way. They don't know who I am. I just really enjoy it. But if you want to use my link, it might get you something. I'll leave it there if you're interested in trying it. I find this has really stopped my impulse spending when it comes to clothes, and I just really enjoy renting things out of my comfort zone. I try new styles. I have fun with it. Now I'm going to show you just a bunch of random things that I always pack, and then I'm going to show you some cruise specific things that is always helpful to have on a cruise. Random things I always pack on a cruise. Can't leave without a hat. Always like having some sort of straw hat with me. This is like the on-trend bucket hat. I always pack these with me when I am wearing dresses like the ones I showed you that are backless and things like that. These little sticky boot things are a must. I had a bigger jewelry holder, but I ended up getting this one because I wanted something a little bit more compact. And I love this thing. I'm able to fit a bunch of earrings here, got some bracelets here, got some necklaces here, and some rings there. And that's just enough for like a 4-night cruise where I feel like this doesn't take a lot of space in my stuff. I love this. I will link it below. I really like this straw bag because it just fits a lot of stuff. I always bring it with me on things like cruises and tropical vacations because I can throw my camera. What do you want? Stop yelling at me. Stop yelling. But this is really helpful for a cruise because it can fit like my camera, things like that. I mean, you don't really need a big bag to take around in a cruise, but I like carrying my camera stuff with me and everything fits in here just fine. I really love this self tanner for on vacation because it's one of those gradual tanners that's very easy. Like you can put it on at night and sleep with it. It doesn't have a crazy smell to it. Honestly, it doesn't smell at all to me. How did they do that? I'm not sure. This is my favorite. I'll self tan before I leave, but then I'll apply some of this at night during our vacation, and I don't smell, I don't stink up the sheets, I don't stain anything wearing this. And if I were trying to save space, I would definitely put it in like a travel bottle. Now for some cruise specific items that you should definitely put on your list that I always bring. First, this mesh pool bag comes in handy all the time, especially on the pool deck. I always bring this and I end up using it all the time. And as always, I have everything linked in the description and pinned comment below. So if I'm talking about something throughout this video and I thought to link it, I will have it linked. You cannot forget your sunscreen because sunscreen is hella expensive if you try to buy it on board or at the ports. It's just super overpriced. Depending on the cruise line you go on, you're not gonna get a lanyard. If you go on Disney Cruise Line, they typically give you one if you're silver status or above. But with Royal, they don't really give you anything. So we end up bringing some of these like cruise lanyards. You can get these off of Amazon, where it just makes our ship pass easier to find, or C card, or whatever you call it. It's basically like your little pass for everything. You want to buy a drink, you want to buy something on board, you need it. Even if I'm not wearing it and I just throw this in my purse, it's easier to find. I'm not a really big drinker, but I will drink more alcohol than not when I'm on a cruise, and sometimes I get a beverage package. This time we are definitely doing it. It's just me and my husband, so it's like, why not? YOLO. I really like these. I'm a migraine girl. I can't do too much. I have to make sure that I'm hydrated, and I have to make sure that I'm really staying on top of my liquids if I'm drinking. But these are also very helpful. They're called Purple-Tree, and it's like those no hangover pills. These are great. They're pretty affordable. You basically just take it before bed, and it like minimizes the symptoms of dehydration and hangover symptoms. I don't like to super overdo it with drinking, but I get very sensitive to it, so I make sure to bring these with me. And on that same note, I really love these buoy electrolytes. They are a liquid electrolyte that you can just put in anything. So like even if you're drinking a cocktail, you're like, let's get some hydration while we are drinking. I swear by these, especially for my migraine sufferers out there. I put this in my water all the time, no matter what. They aren't completely tasteless, but if you just do like a super light squeeze, you'll be fine. This is a tip that a lot of people say, but it is actually very, very helpful. And that is to bring magnetic hooks with you on your cruise because the walls are metal. You can hang up a lot of stuff with these super strong hooks. I've brought these on a lot of cruises. They're extremely helpful because it really helps maximize your storage. You cannot bring steamers or irons on board because it is a fire hazard, understandably. You kind of have to live with the idea of like, you might have wrinkled clothes, and that doesn't really necessarily bother me, especially if I can hang everything up and spray them with the Downy Wrinkle Releaser. As soon as I get my luggage, I hang everything up, I spray it down real good with this stuff, and I'm usually really good. Downy Wrinkle Releaser is a must. And one thing I actually do before I leave is if something's pretty wrinkled, I do steam it before I pack it, and I make sure to be very meticulous when I pack everything in. Let me show you what I pack my stuff in. I use these space saver bags, and these bags, basically what you do is you roll all the air out of it and it like compresses the bag down. Now, a lot of people are like, well, doesn't that wrinkle your clothes? And the answer to that is yeah, if you're like not careful, if you're just like really haphazard with it and you just throw everything in there. But if you lay everything really flat and you're very gentle with it, you can really keep your clothes pretty not wrinkled. So that's why I steam it. I lay things flat in there. I gently roll it, and it's usually pretty good by the time I unpack. Okay, and here's one of the last cruise specific thing that I think is worth grabbing, and it is these clear luggage tag holders. So depending on your cruise line, you might have to print out your luggage tags and attach them to your bags. So with Royal Caribbean, you know, we have these printed out. You're gonna fold them up, and you know, you can tape them on your bags, but to make it like really easy, you can just stuff them in these little luggage tag holders and it'll get to your room no problem. You also have to think about your carry-on. I really like this backpack as my carry-on. It really can hold my laptop. I put my camera gear in here, our passports, things like that. It just holds quite a bit. I find this to be a really great carry-on. I use this for air travel as well. I've gotten so much use out of this thing. A lot of people always advise you to bring like your swimsuit or a change of clothes in your carry-on, provided that, like, let's say you want to swim when you get on board. We're the kind of people that doesn't really do that the first day. If you're the kind of person that like you want to get on board and you want to go straight to the pool, then yeah, bring a swimsuit and a change of clothes in your carry-on. I don't typically do that. I like to have lunch. I like to explore the ship, kind of walk around, get my bearings, and by the time that's all said and done, it's almost time to get ready for dinner, you know, because I've enjoyed that. Maybe I've gone to a bar, got a nice beverage, got a coffee, you know, things like that. I really do my first day for that. So don't stress about like having to have a change of clothes and having to have your swimsuit and having to have all this stuff in your carry-on. I think people stress out over the carry-on too much. Just have your passports, your important stuff, like maybe medicines or things that you don't want jostling around in your luggage. Really important things that you might need on your person, put that in your carry-on. I put my camera stuff in there, and then I meet my luggage in the room when it arrives. And I wear something on board usually that is like flowy and where I'm just like ready to be on vacation. So I'm gonna wear like some linen pants, some flip-flops, and I'm showing up to the terminal. We live 30 minutes away, so it's not like I'm flying or anything or making this long trek to get there. I'm leaving my house and showing up on a cruise ship and going. I know a lot of people also bring beverages and water on board, and we don't really do that because even if we don't get the deluxe beverage package, we have done the refreshment package before, where I just don't feel like I need to bring on all this stuff like to carry on board with me. I know people love to bring their beers and wines and champagnes and stuff with them, and that's totally up to you. We just don't typically do that. That's just something if you're gonna bring it on. Each cruise line has their rules regarding that. But I will say, I'm gonna show you something that I think is worth bringing on, that I think is helpful if you're not gonna bring like water or anything else on with. I typically bring one of these water bottles with me simply just to keep water in my room. Like I will go fill this up with ice water and keep it by my nightstand in case I get thirsty in the middle of the night. Like I don't really carry this around with me. For real, this is the last thing, is this portable charger. It plugs directly into the wall to charge the actual charger, and it has cords for all sorts of things on it. Very helpful at port or if you're on the pool deck and you need a charge. I love to carry this around with me anytime we travel, and cruises are no exception. All right, now it is time to put all of this and like my shoes and everything into here. Let's get this going, shall we?